TerraSpaces. Hello and welcome to The Ether. Today is Friday, December 2nd, 2022. Today on The Ether, part 1 of a 2-part RAC FM, episode 9, number 9. It's the 9th one. It probably isn't, but that's what I'm reading here. WWGOWGA. Whatever the fuck that stands for. Let's take a listen.
Fucking speaker, like some pleb. What do you think this is?
Wait a minute. I'm trialing devices and connections and please, dude, just, if I get ruled,
The first thing I say when I join your spaces and it's recorded, dropping F-bombs.
Yeah. Dude, I think this is the only space, right, where you can drop what you like and literally no one on earth fucking cares, do they? Literally, if you can't come...
RAC FM, RUG FM, and no one gives a fucking shit. Us Racks, we run our own shop.
Dude, what about those plebs? Fucking Rekt FM, just riding on the coattails again. What absolute fucking plebs, man. Honest to God, they make me laugh, dude. Did you see when we did the
charity crack? Legit, dude. They're doing a good fucking job.
Oh yeah, man. Of course, of course. But did you see though, dude? We did the charity, and then all of a sudden, people started jumping in on the charity, right? We did the tats. People started jumping in, dude. It's ridiculous. Rarma, I need you just to give me a quick assessment of the audio because I have got
It's cracking, mate. It's cracking. It's good.
Is it? Really?
Not too loud. Yeah, I'll need to compare when another speaker gets in. But you're not blasting my ears off like normal, which is good.
Are you ready for what's coming? Are you ready? Wait a minute.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh my God. Are you there, bro? Are you there?
It's the RAC show coming to the RAC show. The Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with your goons by the back door. Take all so you can
stake more. All I wanna do
is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We RACville, bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss fight. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoons fly has the right price. Giving you respect if it's
likewise.
So I'm buying all the mean guys
with the clean hearts.
Read between lines, laser beams through meme eyes. Mario with clean lines, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise, NFT wise, but with these guys.
Fuck with these guys.
100 NFTs
in my backpack.
Crazy RAC
from the stash app.
RACville taking lead
in this haystack.
It's the RAC from the back lap.
100 NFTs in my backpack.
Crazy RAC
from the stash app.
RACville taking lead
in this haystack.
Blast that RAC from the stash app. Supplying the raccoons with a headbang rap. RAC gang, get the RACville slang like a trash can. Hoodie with fangs and a gold chain. It's either RACville
or the RACville.
Best chill while we get into the first meal. Best feel, best devs with the best skill. No shield, all real.
Secret is a great deal.
RACville insane. Shane better stand fast. Robo shooting his tweets with straight facts. Knowledge from the streets with the best plan yet.
Winston gonna eat if you retweet.
That free off a live feed from the base camp. Not gonna always ready
if you're there.
Buying all raccoons for his rash stash. Trash panda biker gang.
Motherfucking hashtag.
From the back lab.
100 NFTs in my backpack.
Crazy RAC
from the stash app.
RACville taking lead
in this haystack.
It's the RAC from the back lab.
100 NFTs in my backpack.
Crazy backpack from the Stash app. RACville taking lead in this haystack.
So, Rarma, was it really bad, the sound? Just so I get an idea, how bad was that?
It was maybe just
good. It was good.
just too loud. Maybe just slightly too loud, I think, is the only feedback I had.
It was pretty
It was
good.
good. Much clearer than normal.
And I like some rap, you know.
Hello, Jacob. I can control the audio volume with the tablet, but I really was just trying out the new phone, dude, because it's been a labor of love. Oh, I've put so many hours in. It's been a labor of love to try to get I mean, I'm used to backing it up every few weeks and wiping it and just restoring it, and because I've upgraded to Android on this one, I actually started out yesterday with Android 12. And I just want to get a feel for Android 12 on the custom factory supplied ROM. And I was like, this is proper bullshit. So I found a ROM that was Android 11, dropped down to that. And it's sweet. It's fucking lovely. Dude, it's got proper iPhone vibes about it, 50 megapixel camera. Anyway, hello, Jacob. Good evening to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by, Jacob.
Hello, can I make Winston dog noises for a second?
You can do what you like, brother. This is the FM.
Wait, no, he's not like a Ralpher, is he, though? He's like a rah, rah, rah. No. Anyway, I just wanted to do that because Winston was in the title here.
Well, he's gone to look after Rekt News, hasn't he? He's gone to guard Rekt News, our friends. They're getting death threats in the DMs. I mean, Rarma, that's quite unacceptable for Rekt News to be getting threats already, right? It's pretty ridiculous. No?
Wait. Guys. Hold on. Who would have such poor taste? Rekt News is hilarious.
I 100% agree. If you can't take Rekt News as satire, what are you doing with your life? You need to seriously reevaluate any thoughts that you have in your mind. If you can't look at Rekt News, scroll through about 5 tweets and realize that it's satire and they're taking the absolute piss out of everyone in the ecosystem, and you feel the need to send them threats. What? How down bad are you?
What?
Did you invest entirely in Luna? Double down, back it up with 100% reinvestment into FTM, because I feel like that's how down bad you'd need to be.
Yeah, I mean they probably did. I don't know. I think they should post the death threats personally.
Just expose
cool,
the person.
right?
Rekt News is just a satire news account, so I see absolutely no reason why you can't just expose someone who's been a dick and just be like, breaking news, fuckwit sends us threats via DMs, and then just expose their account.
Yeah. I'm down for that kind of transparency. Anyhow,
I have a complaint to make.
Wait a minute. How is Jacob? How is Jacob the person? How are you doing in yourself? Are you okay, bro? Are you doing well today? Are you having a good day?
Health-wise, Jacob is full of sausage and butter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're doing well though. Down a couple of kegs, mate. Looking healthy.
Oh yeah.
Are you feeling healthy? That's the critical thing. You can eat all the sausages.
I'm feeling healthy, but I got to tell you, it is now in the PM. Okay, and today I woke up and I saw some messages in some certain core group, and I was like, oh no, this ain't gonna fly. Because
I missed that, Jacob. I missed that because I had to go to work. So this started around lunchtime. There was a spaces. By 1 o'clock, by 1 p.m., I had to go to work. I missed this afternoon's events. That's why I'm hoping your man Rarma and your man LiLGainzz is going to fill Uncle Robo, Uncle Elroy in on all the juicy gossip.
So apparently the Loop wallet is open source, but they blocked me on Twitter. I had no way of knowing that. And
Why did they block you, Jacob?
I don't know. Probably because I'm not support funding, and I'm not. And solar powered Bitcoin mines are a scam. And look, I think that that's a very valid point of judgment. Okay, like if a investment organization is down with solar powered Bitcoin mines, like, whoa, I fucked up my DD. Okay, because guys, I do DD on like nearly every project that comes for Juno. And okay, all right, listen, blame me. You don't gotta blame Kevin, okay? You only gotta blame Kevin and others for voting yes on Prop 60, because that's insane. Why are they on so much drugs? Why are they the awful drugs that cause bad taste? Guys, if Prop 60 passes, that's quite bad, in my opinion.
I've had this feeling deep inside me when it comes to funding proposals and the absolute disgusting validators and community members who overwhelmingly vote abstain. Spending proposals outside of software upgrades are the most critical proposals that you can vote on as a validator or as an ecosystem community member. And if you don't have the guts to make a decision for or against spending community funds, what the fuck are you doing in the space? Because literally you produce blocks and you spend money. Like, those are the two things. Like, and obviously producing blocks includes upgrading software. Like the Reverie one, shitload of validators abstained. Prop 60, shitload of validators abstained. Like, if it's controversial and you can't have the gumption to make a fucking decision and inform the community about it, just unstake and jail your validator. Like, fuck off. Because you're going to have to make way harder decisions than, do we give someone $250K or do we give someone $1.2 million in the future? And if this is the thing that you go, oh, I don't know if we can make a decision on this, it's not that fucking hard.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I'm just hey, Joseph. So why are you supporting Prop 60? We're talking about that right now. Wish we could get Wolf in here and ask him why he's abstaining on Prop 60.
Prop 60 yes votes. Your King nodes aren't a yes on Prop 60.
Yeah. And
they're not, to be clear. They have not voted yes on Prop 60.
Oh, have they voted? I'm so confused.
They voted on Prop 59, but not on Prop 60.
Oh, excuse me.
I know that Noel's having some beers tonight, so he may vote on that tonight. But my gut feeling as an Aussie cunt that Noel is, it'll probably be a no vote.
Is it me? Wait a minute, guys. Is it me, or is anyone else missed Rarma? Like, it's the one and only Eagle Double G. Ramadan. Robo's back in the house with his man.
Good afternoon. Your man's back. Causing mayhem, not so much on Twitter, but in Telegram groups.
Well, I mean, the Telegram groups are quite dumb, too. I mean,
Jacob, are you trolling? Jacob, wait a minute. Are you trolling? Are you and Don trolling? Like the industry? That's what I think you are. We know you are, aren't you? You and Don are just like trolling for fun. And yeah, you're antagonistic little fucker. You're worse than me, you, Jacob. You're worse than me, but you got brains.
I could only imagine if the same scenario of Prop 59 arrived in a different situation on a different chain, where you literally front run another proposal, Jacob would not be happy.
Kians, did you hear your man there? Spicy Rarma. Oh, I love spicy Rarma. So, Jacob, what's happening? Come on, fill us in, right? Listen, I don't know. I'm behind the times. So you're upset about some closed source. Kujira, who did private funding, didn't get a grant, owes IBC and Cosmos like zilch, in my opinion, unless I'm wrong.
I mean, look, all I'm upset about with Kujira is they're closed source. They're trying to say that's more safe, but that's not true. Okay, and so I don't like them. I am in support of, like, sanctioning them for osmosis, because who could trust that? People shouldn't trust that. All right, and then
says who though? Says who? Who's the guardian of trust in this entire situation that we're living in? Who decides what trust actually is?
Well,
because how do we define it?
Well, I don't know. Please. How do we find trust? Hey.
No, but a set of constitutional rules outlines what is allowed to be done and what's not allowed to be done in an ethical fashion, surely.
We don't have a constitution yet. Totalitarianism.
Not yet.
No. Government is totalitarianism. It's exactly that. Mm-hmm.
No, but who establishes the lines of trust? What do we declare? Do we just trust people to, sort their own salaries without any government votes? Do we decide, to trust people by giving them funding for closed source software? I mean, where do we fucking draw the line? What's happening here? Because there's a lot of mumbo jumbo, but I'm not actually, like Rarma, I'm not seeing much end result in actually fixing the fucking issues that are constantly bitched about. I mean, I'm tired, dude. Honestly, I'm really tired, and that's something for me to say that. Can we not just get back to a world where everyone was friends and everyone used to dev like folk and post like folk, and we were all heading in one direction before all of these multiple fractions came involved? And that was kind of what I picked up today, I think, with Jake, there are no kings or queens. He's saying it has to be the people that's got to take the power back, and that's how it starts, Rarma, isn't it? That's how it fucking starts today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think I think I've made it very clear that if I see things that need to be spoken about, I'm on the front lines. I'll take the heat. I think things of late, while the core of the idea is good, the execution has been extremely poor. Things that turn the very few teams and projects Juno has away is not conducive to a positive outcome for any Juno holder.
Well, it's incompetence, Rarma. I mean, let's not beat around the bush after everything we've been through, right? What we've witnessed for quite a long time now is a level of incompetence, and it's a level of incompetence to do simple things easily and to make big dramas and everything. If people had just sat back 6, 7, 8 months ago, 8, 9 months ago, and just went logically look, Juno's not going to get out there, right, unless we go market it. Yeah, how do we do that, right? If people had just took proper, if you hadn't had this Scottish fella purely blagging the industry, I've blagged for fucking my life for 20 years, man. I know what it takes to be a blagger. I know the things you need to say and when you need to say them. And we've got to the stage where we've witnessed incompetence for 6 months, and we're not prepared to go on any further with watching that, a community pool being destroyed, right, being filtered off, whatever, with incompetence. If people are going to put themselves forward and say, I belong on this particular DAO of this reason or whatever, your man Rarma, who's putting up receipts on a daily fucking basis, right? If they can't do that, get rid of them, move on and get people in who can. and who are not incompetent?
Yeah, so I think, if we look back 6 months ago, that's like before sub-DAOs had even been started being stood up. If we look back 8 months ago, that's pretty much around the time of, Juno Prop 16. So we can clearly tell that there's like, is that Jacob's dog having a snooze? There's a pretty clear timeline around when shit hit the fan for Juno. Prop 16, we had, essentially from then on, we've had very little quote unquote leadership, very little marketing, very little communications. And then we had this lull of the last 6 months where things have progressed in terms of chain activities and, market went to shit. We dealt with Luna crashing, blah, blah, blah. I think now, over the last maybe month and a half, 2 months, we've probably only just like reconvened and set a plan and some structure in place through the sub-DAOs. We've got a while to go before we actually can execute as a chain reasonably efficiently and successfully. And the next few months will be turbulent because there will be people who are on sub-DAOs who just straight probably don't belong. And, how certain people will handle that and how the community handles that is going to be interesting. But the end result is like there's people who are interested in moving Juno forward, albeit probably just a handful. But I think that's enough. If we have a handful of passionate people who are interested in funding teams who do good work, making sure that funding doesn't directly impact on the token price while we're in the bear market, things like vesting tokens, funding teams adequately and not like we're in a bull market, and then enabling the DAOs to thrive and execute their plans. I think we're in a pretty good position. What we need to step away from is a lot of negative sentiment that will turn away the very, very few projects who actually approach Juno, whether it's funded or not. We are not in a position as a chain to turn away any project that comes to Juno and looks to build. We certainly will be diligent in how we fund them if they come through the growth fund. But is Jacob asleep?
Not his dog. Is it his dog or him? I can hear the snoring. Like, Jacob, you've got a mute button. He didn't even know where the co-host button was the other day when he was hosting his space.
It's all right. I muted him. I think Jacob might be asleep. He can unmute. I pressed the unmute button. We are not, people that think Juno is this amazing chain and this amazing community that everyone just wants to come and build on, need a reality check. That is not the case. And if that was the case, we'd be in a very different position than we are now. And
you're never going to get the RVs and the curves of this world to come and deploy on Juno, are you? And Juno is perfect for them. But I mean, obviously, the situations with Oracle, I know.
Yeah, so I think there's like certain things, and we need to be more efficient. And every time I say we, I mean like the sub-DAOs collectively. I don't speak for all of them. I speak as a community member when I say we. Like we as members of sub-DAOs need to do a much better job. Things like oracles. Teams have been calling for that for a while. It's good to have them built, and it'll benefit them when they come. But we need to be actively out there listening to them, understanding what they want and what they need to build on the network. What features can we implement on the network to make it easier for teams to come across? But
here's my case in point, Rarma, sorry, dude. Here's my case in point, right? The Oracle prop, right? It caused nothing but bitching straight away. Like, there was people who were on the side of yes, all in, and then there's people who were like, no, and it's who's going to pay for it and blah, blah. And you're like, guys, like, why are you arguing like little kids? can we not like actually like come together over a table and say like, right, okay, what's the pros and cons? Let's write everything down, like analyze stuff, you know? That prop is a great example. Your Commonwealth Prop 60, which is not even up yet, right? Yeah. Prop 60 hasn't gone live yet, no?
It'll be like 62 or something by the time I pull it up.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, right, okay, right. But again, you know, you're saying let's use Commonwealth for the reason that it's there. It's a filter system, right, for discussion. And then, you know, you've got half saying yeah, half saying no. It's like Tank's proposal, like what he put forward on Commonwealth. Half, yeah, we think it's a great idea, and the other half are just like totally against it. It just seems like no one's willing to find. No one's willing to find common ground. How do we do it?
So I think we give far too much attention to the noisy few, and don't actually take a step back and have a look at the overview. And, you know, I'm often one of those noisy few, so it's fantastic when you feel like you're being heard and listened to. But like Prop 57, which is the Oracle, is like 90% yes vote, 9% abstain. So there's overwhelmingly yes support for it. You know, what the reasons for that are, I don't necessarily give a shit. But it comes down to, again, you know, as much as I'm going to put a proposal up to enforce the use of Commonwealth, people don't use the fucking thing. Like, the only time validators see proposals is when they arrive on chain. So, and how do you fix that? Like, incentivize them to actually participate in governance before it arrives on chain. So, and I'm not talking just give them a payout, but, you know, potentially have that as like a portion of a foundation delegation. If you actively participate in governance prior to arriving on chain, and we can see participation in those in Commonwealth and that activity, then that will give you a weighting towards a foundation delegation, as an example. Things like that, where it can be a small incentivization, but it brings more people there to have the discussions before it arrives on chain. Because the Oracle thing, while yes, it does mean that you have to run an extra piece of software on your validator. And yeah, there is a fee associated with it. Overwhelmingly, it's a net positive for the network. What we need to do is just communicate that better as proposers of proposals to the community. And that's like what I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks is as members of sub-DAOs and proposers of proposals, you need to just communicate it better and actively engage and be part of the community if you want those things to be a success. And if you don't do that, the chances that that thing will have a seamless result is low.
Interesting. And I loved today when Jake was like, right, how can we go about funding these sub-DAOs? Like, who decides what's what? And I loved your, I had to log off then, dude. I had to go to work, you know, I was gutted. I loved your suggestion about like the vesting schedules. I love the suggestion about like a deposit. And then obviously, like, you know, if you voted out, like losing that deposit. And I do understand the limitations and restrictions, but the fact that someone's putting ideas forward. And I actually thought the vesting was really clever because, and I commented on the spaces, like, it's like advisory shares, isn't it? You know, when these investors do get like advisory shares on the board, yeah? That's pretty much no different, like, to what these kind of sub-DAOs are or could be. You know what I mean? With that, like, linear unlock of your payment or whatever. Like, I really like the fact that it's like advisory share. Yeah,
I'm very much in favor of, you know, let's say you get a monthly stipend, right? Like, you know, greater than 50% of that should be vested for minimum of 6 to 12 months, right? And then it unvests as you go along. So if you're still here in a year's time, you would have received, let's say, 6 months unvested tokens. The whole idea of like, if you leave, those vested tokens get clawed back, not overly fond of, because technically you've done the work for them. and like you should just have to wait for them to unvest. But like I'm super in favor of like definitely more than 50% of your stipend is vested. So then if you need to support, your livelihood, you can sell 50% of it, but 50% of it, or 70 or 80% of it is vested for 12 months. And then in 12 months time, you can unlock it. And if you're not happy with that, then like really what you're in it for is the dollars and not the outcomes of what the sub DAO is built for.
Right, dude. So when I left today, right, how much did did Jake go wild? I get the feeling that he went on probably a mad mission, like talking about like self-governance and self-control and that libertarian aspect of him. Yeah, did I miss a lot? Because I think I got back on about 2:00, and I think he was still there. I think I missed about a good like hour and a half. Was there anything that came out of that?
You missed all the good stuff, my brother. GAINZZ will fill you in.
I would do. Did you see when I put my hand up and he's like, "Oh, Robo's waited patiently for the first time ever with his little hand up, so I'm going to bring him up."
Did you not hear me call you a pleb?
I did.
I did. And then I front ran you.
I know you did, dude. And then I put my hand up again. I was like trying to be like so nice and like polite and like, but dude, I was feeling it.
Jake has a tendency to do that every time. Like I've spoken to him a number of times in like Discord, and it's always like, "Oh, you got 5? Yeah, cool." And it's like I look at the clock; it's been 2.5 hours, and then I leave the call, and I'm like, "Man, I just want to do so much fucking shit. Like I just want to get out and like engage with the community and like write proposals." And like he just has I fuck with his vibe, man. You can really tell like he's passionate about crypto, passionate about Juno and the projects he works on, and genuinely like just wants to build cool shit and enable people to, live their vision.
Well, I would say that it's his like founding like morals, ethicals, principles, right? I would say that like he's just very based in this like like libertarian kind of like world. A lot of people, like especially around like his age, coming from that kind of area or whatever, like they've grown up in this like ideally like libertarian world where it's like, hey, you take care of yourself, you do what you want, as long as you're not, we always say this, as long as you're not raping anyone, killing anybody, doing anyone harm, you should be able to just go about your daily life, go about your business, And people, you shouldn't have like overlords or, going back like centuries, like when you had like the landowners, right? He's against any kind of like, I'm not going to say capitalist system. He just wants everybody to have like personal responsibility, like civic duty to some extent, where people are just trying to be good people, like, for society, etc. I like his ideals, mate. I'm on the same page. I'm right on the same page. And when we mentioned the spaces the other night, and I said, look, go back, listen to when your man came in, listen to what he said, like blah, blah, blah. I mean, he didn't sound very happy. He's like, well, you know what? You can put a prop up and you can change this shit if you're not happy. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what we're going to do, aren't we? I mean, even if nothing comes of it, Rarma, let's challenge the status quo. Because I heard things the other night that I'll be quite happy to like transliterate and put onto a document and like show like embarrassing failures to represent Juno to its best extent. That the other night was in my book was the most miserable performance I've ever seen in my life. Anyone gave on it when you're supposed to be representing. Have some like fucking drive and passion. Don't just try to be like deflecting like valid questions that were coming from people like Tank, Finn, V. When V came in and called him out, and V said, "Oh, you're talking about this, you're talking about that." Dude, you're not standing around a fire, all holding hands, singing Kumbaya. V had his fucking number. I think it's 1 minute 42 of that long spaces the other day, right? And we'll bring Tank up to talk about it because I've never had the opportunity to like discuss this with him live, yeah? So we'll bring him up. But like, dude, like V just came in and V's like, "What you talking about, dude? You're talking shit." And like V's quite he's a dry guy, but he's not a mug. Like if you're going to try and blag V, like others like yourself, and Rekt Gang and Finn, right? If you're going to try that shit, you've got to be really good, really clever, because when you speak on spaces, there's like 20 people, 30 people, 40 people listening to you. In that room, there will be bigger brains than yours, and there'll be different skill sets, and there'll be people who can analyze the content of what you're saying, who'll go and find if you've got receipts or not, who'll analyze you linguistically, who'll go away and find your history. Like, when you come on these spaces, man, be very fucking careful about who you're messing with. Anyway, let's bring Tank up because I want to know.
Tank, up here and say some words so we can expose you. Like,
I can't wait to hear what Tank says because I'm going to give him a little intro if he'll come up. He might be busy though, guys. It's
not
Friday morning.
Tank, as a future member of the communication sub-DAO, now is your chance to get up here. Otherwise, your spot will be filled.
Get up and pitch. Oh, look at that. It was up in a millisecond.
I don't think I've seen a person join a speaker quicker ever in my entire life.
My thumb was right there. Good morning.
Right, Tank, let's bring Tank up to date. Tank, I'm sure you might have seen something like in the group chat or whatever. Listen, I've listened to the Highlander spaces when he, by the way, I do not believe for 1 minute that there are not anon spies coming in many of these spaces, because when Tank and Finn and a couple of others started talking about the communication sub-DAO, your man was in the space in like 3 minutes. Now, when Tank released the Spirit of Juno and then did the after party spaces, your man again was in no time. Somehow, the important conversations, Highlander seems to show up out of nowhere. That's the first thing I'm going to put out there, right? Unless someone DM'd him and said, like, come here, I don't know. For all I know, Finn or whoever could have invited him, right? That's the first thing I'm going to say is, it comes from nowhere, right? The ghost, yeah. Tank, I've listened 4 times now. I have never heard someone more full of shit in my fucking life. And please, guys, go away, transcribe it for me, prove me wrong. You were asking questions, you and Finn, and I've never heard so much shit. And I've been using this expression for the last 48 hours. Fucking snake oil salesman. That's it. That's all I've got to say. Dude, I'm not impressed, and we're going to put a prop up. There's going to be changes on the communication sub-DAO. We're taking over, bro. We're taking the power back. None of this fucking hierarchy, Tank, anymore. I've had enough. We're not happy with your man. He has to go.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, he didn't answer or address really any of the concerns that I was trying to bring up to him, at least. And I said that, I think, on my live stream, and I said it before. I really didn't hear any kind of like valid rebuttal. And it was just like a lot of, we need to stop arguing. We need to start all holding hands. And V was spot on. It was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Obviously, you don't understand or the sentiment of the community or have involved yourself with the community. And so, and that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like, there's very few people on those that are actually participating daily or at least weekly at minimum, you know, with what's happening in these circles, with the community, with the grassroots, with the base. And so that was really frustrating. And, you know, I don't want to be civil or whatnot, because of course there's always trying to rein me in and try to make me civil and stuff like that. But I'm not blaming Mayor, but I was trying to be civil about it. But I honestly did not hear any kind of like, I don't know, addressing of what we were saying or even acknowledgement. Matter of fact, all I heard basically was, oh, yeah. Well, we can do that. We can handle that for you. There's no reason for you guys to get involved. I just heard like, we can do it. We can do this. And I was like, that's not at like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Tank, I'll give wait a minute. Let me bring in some classics, because I quoted them yesterday in the group chat, right? Let me bring in some classics, right, guys? Well, we don't need any more awkward spaces. Dude, who are you telling that we don't need? No, you don't need any more awkward spaces. We need lots of fucking awkward spaces, dude. That was pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've been saying though, Robo, right? Like, it's just really frustrating because, and I know, Rama, you're in this position, you're trying to make changes and stuff like that, and you're probably even more frustrated than a lot of us because you're actually in the trenches trying to do the work and stuff like that. But it's like, bro, like progression is anything but smooth. It's anything but comfortable. Like, how can you say that you're working in the community's best interest when you're not actually fielding or working towards any of these uncomfortable conversations that we need to have? Like, bro, concerns are uncomfortable. Opinions are uncomfortable. If what you're saying is not uncomfortable, then it's not worth shit. Period. It's not worth shit. Or it's fake. Period.
But wait a minute though, Tank. What you're forgetting about is you're forgetting about the two main takeaways from the conversation. And that's that Juno will be fine, right? Because your man Highlander called the generational bottom of Bitcoin, which I thought that was great. I mean, I went out and I loaded up on 880 Bitcoin straight away when I heard him call the generational bottom, right? And say like, oh, don't be so sad. This, you know, the bottom's in. It's up only from here, right? Like, I'm like, all right, okay. All right, but we're going to go there, yeah? And what was the other fucking thing? Thinking about the generational bottom, I forgot the other thing. Wait, that's going to come back to me in a minute. I have never heard. Please, guys, go back and spend 1 hour of your life and, like, just listen to when real topics are... Oh, the other thing was when the conversation got diverted with the Joes. That's right. LiLGainzz came in with a question about the money, and then, oh my God, the conversation got diverted so quickly away from that, and your man jumped on it. Listen, when there was an opportunity for him to divert to like another topic or to get away from the hard questions, he was in there like a fucking rat. I highly suggest everybody just don't trust me, don't trust Verify, go back and listen. If you have to pause things and go back and check, and you're going to get some surprises, like people. I'll tell you now, you're going to see a side of things that you probably won't like, everyone. I've got to tell you that, man. He's a pleb. Rarma, he has to go. Sorry.
What? Oh, God.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm dude, I'm not going to shut up about it. I'm sick of it. I've listened 4 times for a reason. People have to go back and understand what was said, how it was said, the content and the delivery of that content was just some of the poorest execution.
I need to interrupt. I need to give a shout out to 2 very important people. Bbandz and Amanda. Welcome to the spaces, my darlings. Hope you're having a good day.
Here he goes, Mr. Charmer. Here he goes, charming the birds off the trees, isn't he? Bbandz has given them the hearts. Amanda's got a black heart. That shows you what Amanda thinks of Rarma.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did Amanda stay in the conversation today or what?
She stayed for a long time, and she was very, very happy. And I think I received the DM that said, "Let's fucking go. We're going to take this shit over." That wasn't a paraphrase. That was word for word. I'm not surprised. I was motivated too. And I think there's good shit to come. So we just need to fill those slots on the communications DAO, and then need to evict a few people. Get some other good communicators on there, and away we go.
How did you like, wait, while I had my hand up like a pleb, how did you like I put the receipts in the nest? Dude, since I found the nest, man, my Spaces game has gone up tenfold. Like I was like, oh, well, I didn't really want to say anything, Jake, but I've just popped that in the nest for you. I was like waiting for him bringing me in, and I was like, go and read Rarma's tweet from like over 6 months ago. Like, for anybody like, oh, you know, Robo and Rarma just like jumping on the gravy train or whatever right now. Nah. We were calling out Highlander nearly 7 months ago. So we've got receipts. We're covered. Like, but dude, yeah, we're getting better, dude. They must be terrified, some of these plebs now.
Yeah, it's, you know, just got to maintain that integrity. Keep doing the things, calling out shit that needs to be called out, and I think it's funny. It's super odd for me to like be taking a step back and then like watching certain scenarios play out, and even being like on the other side of them to some extent. is an interesting experience, because normally it's me starting the fires, and now I'm like sitting here watching other people start the fires and then being like, brother, you started that fire while you're still inside it, and like you're standing there looking from the inside at the burning doorway that you were supposed to walk out of before the fire got there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, right, that the mental faculties and capabilities of these people, you know, that there might be good salesmen or salespeople in public, but like actually, like when you evaluate like the shit that's coming. I mean, if anyone's ever been a salesperson in this room, if anyone's ever like trained or been to uni or whatever, right, if you'll know about the sales cycle, etc., yeah, sales is like the biggest bullshit. Like, I mean, everybody needs a salesman, but it's the biggest bullshit like career on fucking planet Earth, right? And they're always looking to like pull any advantage whatsoever, right? Why would your man be any different? What is he selling? He's selling himself. Apparently, he's got a unique set of skills. I would love to know what they are. I would love, you know, if your man wants to open the books, let's see exactly every single penny he had, and let's see his qualifications. Yeah,
it kind of tickled me. I don't know the exact words, but when we were talking about the funds that he used, you know, to get on board with Coin Bureau and to pay for marketing and stuff like that, he said something like, and that's why something like what you're saying is that's why I have a background in it or whatever. And he was like, you know, that's how come we got the advertisement with Coin Bureau. And I was like, bro, that doesn't mean that you have experience in. That doesn't mean anything. That just means that you took money and you offered it to him. Like that's not a qualifying like thing, dude. Like what the fuck are you talking about? He was like, yeah.
Tanky did it so many times, bro. It was embarrassing.
I know. I was like, what are you talking about, dude? That's nothing.
So when you first asked him about the open positions, I have never seen such a back heel. I mean, the Brazilian midfield couldn't pull out the back heels that he did, right? And he's like, well, you know, mate, yeah, I know that, but there's five of us, you know, we know what we're doing, we're old school, and, you know, we're just trying to get the thing started. I mean, wait until later down the line, we can manage it. And I'm thinking, dude, are you fucking listening to yourself, you pleb? You've got one of the best fucking linguistic maestros on planet Earth. Transcribing every word you fucking say, dude. And you're coming out with this shit to my mate Tank. By the time I listened to the fourth time last night, I was fucking foaming. I was in Rarma's DMs. I was in the group chat. I was timestamping and quoting him. And I'm like, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore.
There's a lot of that bullshit that people like. I don't know why people just, they like, I don't know. They ignorantly just turn the other cheek to it. But it's like, if you actually look at these individuals, and I can't say for sure for you know, with every one of them, but there's qualifying things that put a lot of weight on you. Like Rarma does this shit. I know, like, I'm not entirely like in depth know what he does for his real job, but he does this shit like daily, all the time for his real job. Like I've done this shit with my businesses for years now, keeping things in profit, marketing, doing all this other stuff. Like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's just weird. Like, okay, Highlander, other than you taking money from the developer fund or wherever you got it from and paying, like throwing it at Coin Bureau, which I could have paid BitBoy $40,000 back in the day to do a review, and would that have qualified me as a marketer of sorts? Like what qualifies you other than getting that to be in that position? And everybody else, like I'm not talking shit about Kevin, but let's be honest, you're a film person. What qualifies you at all with any of this shit that you're doing right now, other than you're experimenting and making your experience as it happens, real time? Like there's nothing that you've done in the past that correlates, as far as I know. Like, have you ran a business? Have you ran a business, a multi-million-dollar business that's yours? No.
No, but
have
I haven't
any of these guys?
No, wait a minute. I haven't run a multi-million, but I've got the qualifications, dude. Mate, I've got the paper.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's certain things that, like, if you've been involved in it, you have qualifications. I'm just baffled sometimes where I just go, where the fuck? How did you guys get this like inflated thought process that you guys are at all like qualified to be saying what the fuck you're saying? You're literally just playing Monopoly right now with something that's brand new tech, something that's developing. And for some reason, you're saying because you're the first person to pick up the board, you have experience. Motherfucker, you're just playing D&D, still trying to figure it out. It's baffling. I get so frustrated with that shit. Super frustrated.
Can I be honest with you? Can I be honest with you? Oh, sorry, Bbandz. Sorry, I'm going to be very quick. Wait. I would work, guys, listen. I would work pro bono on that communication DAO. And by pro bono, I mean, at the end of 2 years, if we did anything that was useful, right, it could go to the man that rescues dogs, right? Like, I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this, like, to change the fucking world, right? Like, I'm probably one of the only people that would say, Amanda, stop the thumbs down, Trev. I'll be like, hey, dude, I love pro bono work. I love trying to change something and help something for the betterment of mankind. Like, literally, honest to God. Like, and I'm not fucking going to do it because there's much better people than me with a lot more energy, right? But literally, I would just say for the culture, like, hey, put it in a staking contract for like 2 years or whatever. When it's vested, if I've done any good, release it to the man that rescues dogs. There you go. There's two years of work for free for you.
I think that's what needs, like, a lot of that kind of stuff needs to be happening. Like, if you're gonna work on this kind of shit, invest into it like everybody else. Vest whatever that you're like, and minimal too. Like, be minimalistic about it too. Invest that shit, and then if you do good work, like, fucking, that's you get it in the back end. But like, bro, just this grabbing in the front end needs to stop. On this,
right?
Like,
okay.
Hey,
I totally agree. Bbandz, yeah.
I don't know 100% what is going on. I'm a little fucking lost right now. Excuse my language. If somebody can give me a little TLDR, I think I'm getting the gist of like what you guys are talking about. But just real quick, a couple of points.
Rarma, Rainman, Shoebox, do your thing, bro.
Okay. Do you want the whole thing or just the communications DAO thing?
The TLDR of what you think that I should would help me get up to speed of what's going on.
Okay. All right. TLDR. Juno has a funding problem, as in there's too much. That needs to be addressed because it affects the token price because we have low liquidity. Juno has a communications problem across the board. Sub-DAOs, core team, etc. Sub-DAOs that are being stood up currently probably haven't had the progress that I think the community expects. Proposals on chain are controversial and need to be discussed more prior to arriving on chain. Communications sub-DAO members we need to fill it with community members that actually engage and do good communication, and probably swap out a bunch of the members that are on the sub-DAO currently.
Thank you.
And last one, we need to not restrict and turn away development teams from building on Juno.
So they're turning people away from building on Juno? I thought the whole reason for Juno was to bring people to be able to build on. I don't understand.
Certain comments and actions will and can turn teams and projects away from Juno. So we just need to be more mindful of that, because if people don't want to come to Juno, it doesn't matter if you go to throw money at them, they're not going to come and build on Juno.
Not when Matic are throwing like $500 million around for development funds or whatever it is, right?
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Hello, darling.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey, guys. I'm sorry, I just had to hop on because when Robo offered to be on the communication sub-DAO, I was laughing. I'm sorry. I love you, Robo.
Wait, Amanda, how funny are you? Sorry, Trev. I'll come. I thought about Amanda today, and let me explain why I thought about Amanda today. Right. So I listened back to the SBF call last night on that Spaces, right? And I was listening to Sam answering, and he was doing the like, welcome, answer, check, welcome, answer, check, right? Following the WAC procedure, yeah. And when he couldn't answer, he was doing the like relative like responding things that you do in Q and R. Obviously not Q&A, Q and R, yeah. Avoiding, delaying, postponing, passing, etc., right? Using conditions. And I was listening to SBF, and I actually said this out loud in my house. So I was doing a bit of cleaning, and I'm listening on the headphones, and he's just doing the same thing. And I'm like, oh, if Amanda was listening, she'd be like, listen to Sam, straight out in 1993. Yeah, Amanda, I said that today.
I love that. Well, I mean, I think number one, there's, like you said, like the communication sub-DAO is like missing its major mission. Like there is no communication with the community, and there needs to be a layer of transparency that people actually know, like who's on, number one, who's on those sub-DAOs, and who's gonna like in the community step up and like talk about what's going on. Like you can't, everyone's lost. And I know with DAOs, that's always
isn't that organization, Amanda? Isn't that organization or what you're talking about? Yeah.
Right. And if to say that like nobody's in charge and no one's ever going to like, I mean, someone has to step up and be the person to say like, all right, here's what's going on in this sub community. Like if no one does that, then everyone's going to continue to be lost. And then there's going to be absolutely zero trust within it because no one's going to know what the hell's going on. So yeah, I volunteered. So
Exactly right. Before you can communicate, guys, as a group, as an entity, there needs to be a level of organization. There needs to be strategies and plans, not just some like weird fella who no one knows saying, aye, mate, it'll be all right now. Like, trust me, you know, let's sweep it under the carpet, giving you like colloquial, anecdotal, fucking bullshit, man. I can't believe a professional in that capacity would come on a live spaces like a pleb like me and go and listen to 4 times and communicate like that. I mean, that is, I take the piss because I thicken it on for the audience, yeah? But in my business life, like, I am fucking uber professional, work for some of the biggest companies in the world, like literally some of the like top 3, top 4. But what I heard the other night was the most pathetic example of representation of, you know, lads, what do you think the narrative should be moving forward for Juno? I'm like, dude, like, fuck off with you. That was Highlander the other night, unfortunately. Hello, Trev,
man.
By the way. Hi, Trev.
GM, and I think Amanda's thumbs down button was stuck a little bit. I saw it going off quite a bit, so I had to help her out and make her not feel alone. You know,
I'm like becoming famous for my thumbs down and black hearts.
So I can hear Eve in the background.
She's a crazy nut right now.
Yeah, like her mom.
Like her mom.
Like her mom. Yeah. So Highlander was. I just met with Highlander in Lisbon. Like it feels like less than a month ago. He was talking about spinning up sub-DAOs and all sorts of stuff. But like, I'm not really privy to like what's been going on. Like, is there like a bunch of shit flying or something?
Apparently, Trev, yeah. Unfortunately, we're so far down the road from when myself and Rarma start asking like the first questions back in like May, which is related to incidents back in like February, you know, when things were like at all-time highs, blah, blah, blah. I think moving forward, hopefully, there can be some trust integrated right into these DAOs, and that's what's going to happen with people like Rarma, yeah, who's on there both the growth and the delegation, and has already been calling things out, which I commend him for. But moving forward, like the situation that has become untenable, and it's like what Tank said a few weeks ago. You know, it seems to be this little protected like hierarchy that want to protect their little, you know, their little payroll factory, or I mean, it's got a smell, Trev. It's very hard to like pinpoint everything in like a couple of sentences. It just has a bad smell. Now we had a conversation. I was only there for a while today with Jake, yeah, I can talk to that guy for hours and hours and hours and like never get a hint of anything. I listen to your man for like 5 minutes and my bullshit detector is ringing off the chain like it's. And I made Rarma go back last night and listen, and Tank's confirming it tonight. And anyone else who's going to go back and listen is going to be like, this is a bit awkward. This is like a bit like.
Where's the show? Where's the show on?
You were on Bbandz. You and me and Tank were like talking for like the first hour or something the other night, like the 28th of November, my time. So it might have been Sunday night your time, yeah.
Okay.
You were talking, you, Tank, and me were like on for like about an hour and 5 minutes.
It was titled "The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly."
Oh, okay.
All right. So wait a minute. I said we had Tank, we had Bbandz, right, and we had me. And what did you just say, Rarma? It was titled what?
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm the bad.
I know what B stands for in Bbandz now. It stands for bad, bad, bad. Never mind. Trev, we're at a point where like Jake's telling us to rise up. If I heard him, I was only there for the first hour. If I heard Jake today, Jake's like, enough is enough. Put your fucking props up. Cause chaos. Change the fucking landscape, because there are no kings or queens. There are no presidents. We're all going to be pulling in the same direction with the same purpose. Right at the bottom of this borough market, man. We're getting scraped along the floor, broken glass right now, aren't we? And if we don't make the changes now, when are we going to do it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I've been traveling around for a while, and, you know, we are in the depths of a bear market. But the one thing that I've really seen is, you know, ecosystems and even, you know, cross-chain ecosystems are forming where teams are coming together and working together. But that doesn't just kind of happen on its own. It takes a healthy degree of leadership and sacrificing your own projects, your own well-being, and stepping out there and saying that, you know, enough is enough, or, you know, this is the direction that we need to go. It doesn't just like appear out of thin air. And we're lucky that a lot of those leaders are stepping up, and there are a lot out there. And it's also on teams and individuals and communities to be open to those kinds of relationships where you probably wouldn't see them kind of come out of, you know, and be anything, you know, 6 to 8 months ago when things were going really, really well. So I think it's really, you know, leadership is key. And I think there is, you know, there are some gaps here and there. So it's nice to see like Rarma and a lot of you others kind of stepping up and trying to take the torch, I suppose, as I think was said on Twitter somewhere. Torches being passed around. So
well, the base, aren't they, Trev? The base, right? You need based people, right? And you're talking about the torch. That was Jake the other day said, "I've got the Juno torch now" or something. Yeah. Did you say that, Trev?
That's I was referring to the torch that was dropped into that message, and Amanda seems like her button is stuck again, but no, it takes people taking the torch. So if he wants it, you know, great. If other people want it, great. But leadership isn't something where there's one leader. Leadership is at any level. You can lead at the lowest rungs, at the lowest levels, and that just means that you're taking care of the people around you and you're acting in their best interest. So leadership isn't a manager or one figurehead at the top. It's anybody and everybody who wants to do it.
Hey, speaking of bringing stuff up, hey, thank you, by the way. I saw your message about, you know, bringing up the signaling prop or the Spirit of Juno prop that we put up. So that was awesome. Thank you. And I'm still going to work on that, by the way, eventually.
Why not? Why not, Tank? You might not have much time.
I'm not going to stop just because of a few.
Well,
I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping just because a few fucking people like Rarma. Rarma said it best. I think the overwhelming, it was 80-20. Only a few people actually had pushback, and I expected those people to have pushback. I'm still working on the Spirit of Juno. Fuck that shit.
So what you do is, listen, what you do is you focus elsewhere. You come together with a a couple of us, right? Many of us probably. You join forces, right? We ensure that we do or set out to do what we want to do to correct situations with certain sub-DAOs. Then, once that's taken care of, I'm sure there'll be a much more like open-driven narrative to be able to kick off the other initiative that could like be communicated out essentially from like one DAO to the other two DAOs, right? To get like a consensus. You understand what I'm saying, bro? I think we need you.
For sure. That's why I haven't done it. That's why I haven't
right now.
That's why you're absolutely 100%. That's why the signaling proposal was meant to be just that, a fucking lit arrow to be shot up in the air to let motherfuckers know that this is what the sentiment is out there. Now it's time to actually organize, iron out, detail out things, work with others, get feedback, really present it well with the community. The first arrow was just an arrow, man.
No, Tank, you're wrong. No, Tank, you're wrong. You know what? The first point of call is to clean house. That's the first point of call, bro. Telling you, before you can build, you need to clean.
You can't clean house unless you turn on the lights. You can't be walking around in the dark.
True. I understand, but we need you in this little, I'm not going to call it a battle or whatever. I hate those kind of words. In this deliberation or, procrastination about what action we're going to take. I'm sure there's drafts getting written right now. Tank, you were asleep and you were in the conversation today. And when everyone spoke, whether that be RV, Rarma, whoever, you were top of the fucking list, bro. Like, you were asleep and you missed all this today. And I had to go to work. I want to bring RV up. He's popped a few emotions in, but Tank, I totally agree with the spirit of Juno. I think it's an awesome idea. The money's sitting in the community pool. What harm can it do? It's only probably going to go fucking up in price in the time that it'll be staked or whatever, because can't go any fucking lower. However, I just really feel that, you're such a strong voice. Rarma, come in a minute. I need shoebox. I can't do this alone. I'm not that clever or articulate this time of night. Shoebox, you know what I'm saying, bro? We need Tank.
I was the daughter just woke up. She's transitioning into a bed instead of her cot, so I get the joys of hearing a door open behind me, and I look behind, and there's a 2-year-old standing behind me. So
little Luca, huh?
Hey guys,
settle her back into bed. Hello.
That is adorable. But the scary thing is when you're sleeping and they are standing by your bed and you wake up and there's just a child looking at you. Mm-hmm. That's some scary shit. I don't like it. I told my son, never.
We've had that a couple of times. The other one was we woke up because we just heard a noise, and then we hear Luca. She's not even 3. She's 3 in April, right? She gets out of her bed and she walks into the lounge room, and our dog must have been sleeping in the lounge room, and we just hear her go. She goes, "It's okay. It's okay, Jimmy. I'm all right. I'm just watching my iPad." And then sits down at the table in the lounge room, unlocks the iPad that has a 6-digit code, and then just sits there and starts watching YouTube Kids at 5:30 in the morning. And we're get up, and we just walk out, and we're "Hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "I'm okay. I'm just watching my iPad because my clock says bedtime." Oh my God. It's it'll be 3 a.m. one morning and she'll do that, and we'll be But yeah, she's doing well. She's moving from a bed to a cot cot to a bed, sorry, is interesting.
Little Luca, I'll have to send her a Christmas present. Dude, as a non-parent, I get where you're coming from, but I haven't got any related stories. But I will say, the scariest thing I've ever woken up to in my life is literally fucking getting teabagged off Winston, man, when he's fucking lying in the upside down position, man. And fucking dudes, it's when you wake up looking at Winston's balls, right? I'm telling you, it freaks you the fuck right out. Honestly, this little hairy fucking worm. Fucking Jesus.
Yeah, we've had a few times. Our dog doesn't like storms, so you'll wake up and there'll just be a 35-kilo dog standing above you, and it's what are you doing, man? And it's just jumps up, on the bed and then like stands on your pillows or some shit. He's like on your head. It's like, dude.
I tell you what, when dogs fart in your face though, like if any human farts in your face, you're going to get really angry. Like if a dog's like upside down.
Yeah, you know why, right? You know why, right, Robo? You know why, right?
Why?
Wrong place, wrong time.
You know the interesting thing about farts? You know why? You know why your mouth waters when you smell a steak?
No.
You know why?
Don't do this.
Because you're actually tasting it. Those air particles are falling on your taste buds, causing reactions. So when somebody farts, thank them for eating ass.
Bro, that would probably make me more healthier. You understand that? Like, the reason I've been able to battle, like, infection right across the globe is probably because, like, I've been exposed to copious amounts of, like, dangerous fucking daddy farts. Like, when I was a kid, my father didn't care, honest to God. You'd be at the dinner table, man, he'd let one go, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like literally quiet, and just wipe the room out. Like, literally, I grew up, like, being disgusted, like, my father's fucking toilet behaviour. Like, if you didn't get out of bed and go to the toilet before him on a morning, nobody could go in there for, like, 45 minutes. Like, it was ridiculous, man, to the point where, like, my mother was opening the front and back doors of the house and everything, and
fucking child abuse, man. Fucking chemical child abuse.
Dude, hey, early 80s. That's all I'm saying. Early 80s in the northeast of England, dude. It wasn't easy. We've all had hard times. Anyway, we invited some speakers. It's lovely to have Trev. Trev, have you still got your rack? Your little angel rack? I haven't spoken to you since that night. I'm sorry about that night, dude. I'm very sorry about that.
Nah, there's nothing to be sorry about. I don't know if there's anything to be sorry about. I still got the rack. I got it. Put it
dude,
away.
I slept in.
Yeah.
Dude, I slept in. How embarrassing.
Boo.
I slept in. How embarrassing was that? Gaines killed me for that. And Rarma. Oh.
It's all right.
Sorry,
just
can you
blame
repeat
on
that? I couldn't quite hear that, Robo. What was that?
Oh, you're making me repeat it, are you? You clever little fuckwit. Fun. What a pleb. Talking about plebs, we've got Homestead in the audience. And Rekt gang. Yeah, nice to see them, yeah.
Hey,
man.
Can you
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you bring Rekt gang up? I don't know if he's been kind of keeping eye on what's going on in the oh my gosh, the Lavana freaking Discord is a fucking like somebody threw a bomb in there. Holy shit. There's
hey, before I forget, all you raccoons. Hey, before I forget, all you rack holders, all you raccoon holders, if like, you know, what, it depends on what you guys want to do, but do you guys have a place to put your guys' stars address on the raccoon website for a whitelist?
It's already been done. It's already been done. Submitted. Oh, if you own a raccoon and you haven't submitted, guys, your addresses, your Juno address and stars, well, you're a pleb. Bbandz, quickly before we get Avi up, because he's come in, what's been happening in the Lavana Discord? Come on, darling.
Well, no, I do, but I feel like Rekt gang needs to be up here with me because I know he's reading. There's no way he's not reading what the fuck is going on in there. But yes, they have like this other DAO going on, and so they're trying to essentially, you know, take the NFTs and bring them to the Dragon DAO and, you know, continue funding and stuff like that. And they're being encouraged by JC, which is Jonathan Karras, to do this. The only thing is, the VCs don't want to fund it or anything. But now that the community wants to take over the project, they also don't want to give the IP rights.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Didn't we say that? Remember, we all said that. We're in the chat and we're like, there's no fucking way they're going to give the IP. So right now, there's some kind of big fight going on or whatever. You know, hopefully that happens. But I don't know, man. I'm eek.
Greedy fucks bands on the bands. These people, man, they're that greedy. If they drop 10 cents, it would hit them on the back of the head on the way down to the floor. Hello, Harvey.
I'm going to say it, Robo. That Jonathan guy does not want the best interest for the community and for the people that are being fucking rugged. Like, he can say all that shit, but if that was the case, like he was saying on that one Spaces, I've always want to make an impact again. I just thought if I could make this thing and people be reading it, like that'd be my way to make a snap. Motherfucker, if that was the case, if that was the true intentions, let your IP go. Let your intellectual property go. Let it do its, let people fucking, God, that's the problem with Cosmos. People, the parents in Cosmos that birthed these ideas or projects and protocols, helicopter parent, and cannot let go of what they fucking like, of what they bring to the table. They can't let go of it.
Right. Well, somebody, guys, someone tag him. Like all he is, go in the comments or something. If you like this Jonathan guy, I don't even know.
No, listen. I already.
Hey.
I sent.
Hold on.
Hold on. I put a message.
Yeah.
Hold on. I put a message. So he's part of the Juno sub-DAO or something. And a lot.
He's on the Juno sub-DAO.
Juno Growth sub-DAO, I'm sorry. And so some people are calling that he shouldn't be there since they decided that the NFTs are worthless and, reneging on their community, right? So I got kind of annoyed. I got a little hot because he was putting and this is just my opinion, this is just how I feel, but he was putting the DAO maximalist guy, Jake H, put what does the Juno need? And then he put a list of all the things that Juno needs. And I'm thinking in my head, you can't even take care of the needs of your community. And your community is in shambles right now. And there's a lot of shit going on. And you're over here commenting on what a Dex Juno needs. And I said, you have a lot of ideas.
Look,
I did get mad. I did get mad. I'm not going to
Can I say something about this real quick? Because I know you guys are upset about Levana. And I'm saying you have every right to be upset about Levana. Jonathan, in my opinion, adds a lot of value as a founder and somebody who knows how to start a business, take it from nothing to something, get funding, all these things. Now, I'm not saying whether he should or should not be removed from the sub-DAO. If you guys feel a certain way about that, you can put up a proposal, you can explain your reasoning, and then people can put it to a vote. But I do think that he adds value to the group. I think he asks the right questions during these meetings with projects. I think he's a good person to be on the crew. It's just a matter of keeping the
maybe the trust issue. Maybe it's a constant lies and stuff like that. And so I don't want somebody that's constantly lying to his community and hiding shit. And then the community has to come and show on-chain data to him to refute his lies. That to me makes me feel uncomfortable. I would think okay, well, if you can't keep straight with your own project, now you're getting involved in another project. But that's just my opinion.
Have you put together a document with all of this stuff? Because I personally have not seen him lie. I don't know what the lies are. What I've seen so far from this Levana thing, and I haven't seen everything, but what I've seen so far...
Have you been on the chat? Have you been on the chat?
No, not at all. Which is why I'm saying if you have all of this info, you should put it in a single place.
Why do I have to? I can just go to Discord. You can just go to their Discord and their own community is doing it. I don't have to put a document together. They're putting the document together.
Great. So if you want to remove from the sub-DAO, there needs to be proof as to why you can't, you know what I'm saying? We can't just throw pitchforks in the air and be fuck this guy.
But here's the thing though. Actually, I was finishing my point before you interrupted me about how I was kind of going off. I think you shouldn't do that. And then he knows what I'm talking about because I was a mod and I had already been in the Levana group and everything. He already knew what I was talking about. And he was like, oh, well, what did Juno do that they didn't come through on? And I'm like, I wasn't talking about Juno. I was talking about you, sir. I said, you made, all these things went through and now your community is in shambles. What's going on here? And then he sends me a message in private. Oh, he said, well, you seem mad. You want to chat? I don't want to chat with somebody who is going to talk circles around me. I honestly do not, because I have been in the past year listening to him chat and listening to him talk in circles and listening to all these promises and these half truths. And then all the truth comes out, and that's just me personally, and I'm having my own rant, but that's how I feel. Everybody else can do whatever the hell they want, but I'm just saying, as a community member, as somebody who's been here, I'm not just talking out of my ass. This is I feel like I want to say something, and then every time I want to say something, everyone's like, oh, not, no, don't say anything. It's Jonathan. Just who cares?
That's not what I said. To be clear, I'm not telling you not to say anything. You know that, right?
No, but I feel like you're coming to his rescue when you haven't even read the Discord or you haven't even been really involved.
I'm not coming to anyone's rescue. I just told you earlier, I don't know the details about what's going on. But if we're going to throw like things that like out about people, like they're liars, they're bad people, they shouldn't be here, they shouldn't be there, whatever, then that's fine. But we need to have like proof. All I'm saying is that we need to put it like in a document. And when you upload it to Juno and you're like, or the Commonwealth, and you're like, this is why this guy should be removed, then it'll be unequivocal. No one can deny it if there's evidence. But if we just put up a thing and we're like, look, this guy's part of this controversial project, like that leaves a ton of room for him to not only defend himself, but then for other people to be like, no, this is messed up, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm saying that if we're going to get him off, we got to do it in a way that's going to make it like clear. But again, I don't know the details of what happened. That was my only point. I'm not trying to take sides or anything.
Fair enough, but I definitely, Ave, I'm sorry, did I say that wrong? I said Avi. Avi, I'm sorry. My bad, I said Ave, but I hear what you're saying. I agree. I just know that I'm just kind of chatting right now. Like, you know how sometimes we all come in here and chat, but I have been hurt by it and I am upset. So, you know, I'm going to feel this way. I definitely suggest though, Avi, that you would check out the Discord, take some time just for yourself. And maybe even formulate if you feel like it. I'm not saying to do it, but if you feel like it.
Bbandz, I've got a question for you. What have the raccoons been like from day one? Yeah, you came in, Bbandz. say your piece, say what you want to. Rarma and I are too long in the tooth. We've been doing this for a very, very long time. And it's been like this from day one. And when devs have come on, we've ensured that, like, hey, if we've got questions, like, we're going to ask, like, you know, devs are like, ask you ahead of time. Oh, what do you want to ask? What do you want to, like, discuss? Or they'll even send you the questions that, like, are okay. And you're like, fuck off, mate. We don't even want you on, you pleb. And I think, one second. Bbandz, and it's the same, it's a reason I brought Arvi up. I brought him up and because he's such a relevant, like, based voice, even though he is in the kind of like community. I do feel like he tries to strike a balance, even though he has got his work hat on. When he does reply, he has got a certain like work hat on. But that's me with other things, you know. Bbandz, say what the fuck you like in here. Avi, you say what the fuck you like in here. That's how we roll, guys. Yes, Tank.
Hey, I just had a question for Avi, actually. I respect what you're saying, and I somewhat agree with what you're saying, too. I do have a question, though, with your opinion. You're saying that you think that he's valuable and that he brings things in, that he was, you know, capable of crowdfunding or getting funding to start companies and whatnot. What companies right now does he still have that's actually profitable and running right now?
So I don't remember the name of the company that he started and sold, but he is a successful entrepreneur. I've met with him once and we both kind of just chatted about our like backstory just to get to know each other a little bit better. And from my discussion with him, as a person, like he seemed fine. But again, like I haven't been in the Levana community. I haven't seen like what he's said and what he's done. Obviously, like there are a lot of people that are hurt by this. So I'm not trying to negate any of that by any means. But when it comes down to it,
I know you're not. I was just asking because I want to learn as well, because I've actually, you know, I've never got a Levana thing. I've, you know, tried to get in there and listen to things, but I wasn't in the community in it. But I've heard and listened to a lot of his interviews and talking before. I've heard him say before that he had a company and that he sold it or whatnot. What that company was.
It was like a video. It was like a video chat. It was like a video chat company that was for people. It was made for something else, but then it ended up being good for people who are deaf. And
that's kind of what that's kind of what I was trying to learn. Again, I'm not trying to pass judgment right now, but I'm trying to pull all the pieces together into where, like, you know, how does it correlate to what he's trying to do now with his venture? Was it super profitable? Did he sell it just to break even? Like, what does that actually mean?
He's like legit, and I'm gonna try and find the details for you.
He
even works for like
the discussion that I had regarding like the startups that he was, you know, co-founded and such. They sold for, you know, they were in the tens of millions, and he had decent percentage shares of those, and he's done that multiple times from the discussions I had.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to find out. Like, if it's like real, like he actually has it. So cool, that's cool to know. Then, yeah, I agree with you.
The perception that I got when I had the conversation was that, yeah, he's been around the traps. He knows what he's doing when it comes to startups. I haven't been across the Levana situation. I'm not going to make excuses for anyone. I think that I'm going to stick true with the mantra that I've always said, that if you lose the community, you lost your product, and what are you even still trying for? So same thing with the Juno Growth Fund. I think if there are people, if there are public people who are overly damaging towards the brand of the Juno Growth Fund, conversations need to happen within the DAO. And if the community is overwhelmingly against that particular individual and they can bring evidence as to why they're a net negative for the DAO, then those conversations need to be had.
Totally agree with that.
Because the whole thing with the growth fund is we're not going to be a reverie, and if it turns into a reverie, I will just step down, because if we, I'm going to repeat this, you're going to hear it a lot, like, the community is our success gauge, and if the community doesn't like what we do, then we shouldn't be a thing. We shouldn't exist, because the entire premise of the growth fund is to encourage teams and to have those teams build products on Juno that make you happy to use it and happy to be here. And if we can't do that, then we've failed.
Yeah, and
you all think, wait a minute, you think Rain Man was a meme? You all thought Rain Man's shoebox was a meme. No, he's real. He's fucking class, isn't he, Harvey? I love Rarma, mate.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be fundraising for Juno or anything like that. All I was saying is that he has successfully raised funds for his own businesses in the past and grown them and then sold them and moved on and started other businesses. I think it's a total of 3. I was looking it up. One of them was like a software development app, and another one was, like a video communications app that he sold. And I want to say it was $50 million. So like the guy's legit. Like he's not some random entrepreneur.
I wonder if you've done so well.
He might be
like, why? If that, I don't know. If you're like going back to the Levana thing, and I'm not making, I'm not trying to paint a picture on him or nothing like that. But it's why the fuck is it always? Why are you trying to source funding when it sounds like you have a personal?
Let's also remember
this NFT thing. I'm just saying from the conference when he was addressing everybody, like he was like, this is my baby, this is my baby, this is what I wanted to do. He literally said, like, I wanted to make an impact to create like a comic of sorts to where people are reading it later, and he could say that he did it. It sounded like more of a personal project, but then it sounded like he didn't want to actually invest in it. He wanted other people to invest in it. It's weird to me where when I want to do something with my personal money and something personal in that matter, like I put a lot of, and I'm not saying he hasn't. Obviously, he's put a lot of time and effort into it, and he's a very intelligent dude from when I listen to him. But it just makes me think, like, why was the VC thing even a thing for you? Like, I don't even understand for that part of like the NFT things, like the options and all that other stuff. Yeah, that's kind of different. But like the NFT part of things, like, why was that even connect? I don't understand the whole thing. So it kind of makes me. Gives me pause. I'm not saying that he's a liar. I'm not saying that he's not good for the growth DAO or anything like that. There's just been a lot of conversations that just make me go, why? Like, I don't understand. Why the fuck was it such? If you have $millions, like, just $1 million could probably done that NFT project pretty good. If you believed in it, like, why wouldn't you invest in it yourself? Like, I just feel like that's kind of weird.
So I'm not going to comment on his personal bank account or how much money he has in it.
I don't mean to either.
Well, that's kind of what you're saying, though, is like, why? Yeah,
but it does make me think
skin in the game. Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say is, like, okay, he sold the business, made a good amount of money, and fine. That was 8 to 10 years ago, and I also know that he was heavily invested in advising, like, in Luna. And so I also know that he lost a lot of money. I don't know the details about that, but all I'm saying is that, like, we have to remember that just because someone sold a business once doesn't mean like every single penny is like in their bank account. So I don't know. I just think we need to, I just think we need to be like open-minded. Like we don't know the details of everyone's life. And man, I feel bad even like sharing some of these details. Like I'm trying to provide some color, I guess, from the other side of the aisle, but I don't want to like defend anyone, because I think at the end of the day, if there have been wrongs done to the Levana community, then that's valid. I think we need to present them in a way that communicates the fact that people were misled about the value of these NFTs. They invested time and money in the project, and then they were led to a point where they were told everything was worthless. Whether the right word was used or not, whatever, none of that shit matters. Because at the end of the day, if you made people, and it's not just one person that's mad, it's like a whole community of people who are upset. Like that's worth investigating. And yes, Bbandz, I will go to the Discord. I'll check out some stuff and see what the deal is.
From Arby's or fair.
It's like Robo,
it's give a balance.
But it is. But like I'm trying to get to my point though. It's like, but that's been my drum that I've been beating for a long time. Sustainability, maintainability, like true freaking sustainable stuff. Business practices is a lot different than people, who burn like fire, like their flame is burning really, really brightly for a minute, and then it's not there at all. It's like Sam Bankman-Fried, right? Like, okay, the same thing. He raised a humongous company. Is he now good for the crypto landscape? What would you say? It's kind of the
I don't
thing,
think it's fair
right?
to compare this guy to.
It's kind of what it is. It's kind of It is.
Actually, he's. I hear what you're saying, Tank. Like, I hear what you're saying. He's not. He's essentially like not coming through on your problem. I hear what you're saying, Tank. I get it.
No, we can't live on our past successes. This is what I'm saying. We can't live
1,000%.
I mean, we can make. It does validate us in some ways, right? Like, I'm not trying to discredit his accolades and stuff like that. Like, that's massive to be able to sell companies on that level and be profitable and stuff like that. That's fucking. You're successful. Like, that's cool. But at the same time, I say it we only have today. We can only live at the day, and we have to prove ourselves every single day. So like if I was the star quarterback, like Married with Children, and I say like every fucking day in my 40s and 50s that I scored the winning touchdown in my home game, like high school home game or whatever, nobody gives a shit.
You can throw that football straight over the mountains, right?
Yeah. I bet you I could throw that right over the mountains, Napoleon. I bet you I could. But but at the same time, Avi, I will say, like, I'm just trying to give the other side of it. Like, I'm not trying to discredit them, but like I always say, like, productive conversations are not comfortable, and you have to take those things into account. Like, right? Like, cool, he did all that stuff. Are they still? Is he still sustainable personally? And we have to talk about personal things. Like, I'm not trying to get into his bank account, but we do have to talk about personal effects on things. I could do things all day long, but if I'm broke right now, that means I have a motive to do things and say things now to make me relevant financially. Like, I don't know. That's maybe I'm being too harsh, but like I do that all the damn time.
Hey, Avi, your hands up.
Fuck, I forgot.
Don't you hate when that happens? Oh my God.
I was listening intently to Tank, and then I forgot.
Well, I was saying, while you think about what you were saying, because this often happens, you need a bit of time. I was just saying fair play. I mean, I get like really like emotional, or sometimes not emotional, but like energized by like passion and stuff, right? In regards to like, the battles that I choose or whatever. And all I was trying to say was that when you finish was like fair play, because I'm listening and I'm like just sitting with like a pure balance, like from one hand to the other. And I'm like, well, I can say that, but I can also like say that. Like, so yeah, I appreciate when someone comes on, just gives like a bit of a balance. I find out the facts. I've been there, I've been rugged myself, man. I know what it's like. Like, it's fucking awful, man. And you never see clearly, do you? No matter, I don't believe anyone when they've been involved in something, like you never see clearly, like 100%, even though you want to. Wow, Berserker Is that Berserker up to the stage behind the Rekt Gang account or not? Who's come up?
Hey Robo, how you doing? Hey everyone. Hey Tank. Hey Rarma. Bbandz.
You've walked in. You've walked.
Hey, Rekt Gang. I've been trying to get you up here for the longest, but whatever.
He's walked into a conversation here. He's like, fucking hell. Fucking Robo's invited me to speak like 40 times.
Oh, I just got one thing to say. I love your dog, man. It's so cute. Like, it's this most beautiful dog. I have a husky, right? So
A cute little
like,
chihuahua,
face.
Winston.
No, I mean it's a dog, but it's just a magnificent creature. So I think it's really cute. I have a husky, so they have like the same face features, right? So it reminds me a bit of my dog too. So, anyways, dude,
have you seen him on the punch bag? He's got his own punch bag, outside. He loves to go on the bag when like people. Seriously, I've got videos.
More pics. I want to see more pics.
Okay, I'll put a video in the next. This was when like Bitcoin was heading to like 64K or something. And I've got a video, like, I'm like, come on, Winston, chase it like it's 64 Bitcoin. Come on, son. And he's going mad to get his plastic bottle off the top. Anyway, Harvey's got his hand up, but then Rekt Gang, we need you to come in. So Harvey's going to intro before you, dude.
Yeah, I remembered what I was going to say. I think we can like wrap this up if we want to about the Jonathan talk, because again, like my personal interactions with Jonathan have been great. I really like the guy, but again, we have to kind of weigh these two things, and the two things, in my opinion, are here's a man who's a successful entrepreneur who started a business, taken it from 0 to X, has sold it, has done it again. Like the guy clearly has skills to galvanize people and bring them kind of around a common goal and achieve it. And then on the other hand, we've seen him start this project in crypto. There's been a lot of questionable things that happen. The community's upset. People want accountability for what's been done. And it seems like, from what I'm hearing, that he has not delivered on any of that. And so whether or not this person has the accolades or the skills to deliver on the sub-DAO is one matter. And then the other matter is, like, ethically speaking, should this person be around because they, maybe don't have like the right moral compass or whatever to be in this position? Like, that's another problem. And I think that if, like I said, if we can put together like some evidence or a document that proves that, that moral compass is not right, then yeah, I think at that point it's up to the community to decide which one of those two things they value more. And we got to just see how the cookie crumbles.
It's your turn, Rekt Gang.
Rekt Gang, yeah.
That dog is just too beautiful. Are you guys talking about the $2.2 million that was discovered yesterday by someone looking on chain?
Oh, can you repeat that again, Poppy? I love it when you talk to me. Say that again.
What? The 2 point? Are you talking to me?
Oh yes, yes, Poppy. I want you to say it again. All right, please, for the people in the back.
The $2.2 million that was discovered. Is that what we're talking about?
No, but you can talk about that. I was kind of like dusting
wait a minute.
out lobbies and stuff like that.
Wait a minute.
I don't think she's talking to me.
Have we got juice? Have we got juice here? Have we got juice? I'm all ears, bro. Everybody be silent.
Wait, did Bbandz talk about this? So anyways, I'll just make it super short. In the article that Lavana posted, they said that they lost all the money from the raise of the NFT sales, right? And someone checked on chain and there was actually $2.2 million left. So that was posted yesterday, and people were asking, well, there's $2.2 million. There's money there. Why are you saying, you guys have no more money left for NFTs? Because that money came directly from the sale of NFTs. The thing is I think they said that 2.2 million is not enough to build out the game they want to build. So they're basically, I don't want to say abandoning it, but yes, they are abandoning the game aspect, even though they still have that money.
Well, they reallocated. They said that money is actually because the sale of the eggs was so good. They put in a blog that they decide, the NFTs, that they've decided to create a whole division for Lavana. If you see in the blog, it says that. So, but those funds were not part of Lavana. It was essentially said that these funds were for the whole DeFi thing.
Well, they said there was no more money left. I believe that was said at a certain point. But that's not true. You can check the wallet. There's 5.5 million in that wallet. Most of it is probably VC funding. And there's that, sale of eggs or whatever they raised. I think they raised 17 million in total. So, yeah. Anyways, I thought this was what we were talking about. I don't know.
Yes. I was I was just kind of talking about how, what's going on with Lavana, and that the Lavana chat is in shambles. And, because I've been kind of reading everything and kind of also talking with Church Key, which is the Dragon DAO leader, and kind of.
So I spoke to him too. He's a chill dude. I don't think Jonathan's moral compass is off. Just, my impression. He's a good guy. I think he's a good guy at the core, but he just can't make this game thing happen. And it is unfortunate, but it's not malicious, right? So, yeah, I think that's kind of my impression here of him. I think it's just that, he promised something and he won't be able to deliver on it, but it's not out of that intent. I don't know if that gives him more points or not, because it's still a failed kind of delivery. But I still think, he's like a good person for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'll also add that he was one of the first people in the Growth Sub-DAO to just post his Calendly in the group and tell everyone hey, I'd love to get to know you guys, schedule a meeting with me and let's just chat. So I don't know about you guys, but I really like it when people he's really down to earth, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that Jonathan is the person versus Jonathan is the founder of Lavana are probably separate personalities in some way, because
that's weird.
You can't separate that though. But I get what you're saying.
But what I'm trying to say is the way that he has to act as the founder of the project, making hard decisions that are going to upset certain people, versus the person that he is when he's just kind of hanging out with you and talking to you and getting to know you. Those are two different. They have to be two different personas. They can't be the same exact person.
No, they don't.
So
they don't.
Yeah, no. So I think I tend to agree with Avi here, right? So from a business perspective, purely from a business perspective, I don't know the intricacies and the investment from Lavana's perspective, and I'm making assumptions because I don't know any of this. So jump in at any point in time. If I was in Jonathan's situation, let's say I have multiple VCs who have invested money into Lavana, and they're seeing their investment burn away to essentially nothing. He's in a position where he's community facing, and he needs to tell the community and inform them of the hard decisions that have to be made for the overall quote unquote success of the project. That's going to upset people, yet he's there having those conversations. When he steps away from Lavana, there's completely separate obligations to the Juno network to have conversations with projects around funding them for Juno's success. I think that's the point.
He must have a lot of time to be involved in 5, 6, 7, 8 projects. He's there are so many things that he's involved in. Is it possible to have your hands too much into too many things and not be able to focus on the things that?
Let's ask the man who does investing right here, Tank.
I can see it. What the fuck did I just throw away? That better not be important. Damn it! I hate when I gotta reach back into the fucking trash can.
It's probably just a $10,000 check or something. Nothing.
Yeah, I know. No, I do something down there. I was like, wait a minute. I need to reach my hand back in there. No, I like, so again, Avi and Rama, I get what you guys are saying, right? Like, yeah, I guess to a point, like, obviously, like, I don't walk around when I go to my business meeting, I put on my suit and ties and shit like that. Like, I'm not the same Tank that's talking to you guys. But at the same time, what I'm saying is, when you are an individual, it's just, here, let me actually make it simple on myself. I agree with just about everything Rekt was saying. I don't think that Jonathan is a malicious person. I do think that he's very intelligent. I think that what he did was he approached something that was new for him in business, and it was a failed venture. Like, it's just simple as that. It was just a failed venture. But does that, like, you know, I guess the question is, how do we judge somebody that's now sitting on a sub DAO for the community going forward? Like, that's the real question, right? And what I'm trying to say is, I don't think that you can separate past failures and a person as far as what they were trying to do, because it's one and the same. You're one and the same, like that, and that's what it is. That's, you know, it's nice to separate it on paper and on business, but as a community seat, as somebody that has to address themselves and sell themselves over to the community, you are one and the same. It's like, I could have the best product in the whole fucking wide world, right? But if I'm a piece of shit, probably not a lot of people are going to buy that shit. Like, you don't see Wheaties sponsoring somebody that's a wife beater or some shit on their box, right? Like, it's one of the same. So like that, I think that's what we're getting. That was a way, like, I probably shouldn't have used that. Jonathan is definitely not that. That was super extreme. But I was just making an example, right? Like, that's definitely
like somebody
not,
who has
definitely
like
not that at all. I said it and immediately wanted to retract it out of my damn mouth. I was like,
Tank,
what the fuck just came out of my
I can
mouth?
tell you that Jonathan does not beat his wife. I know that.
Yeah, I can probably tell you that exactly too. I said it. It was like, oh, what the fuck just came out of my mouth?
On a lighter
you guys
note,
get what I'm saying?
Bbandz, on a lighter note, for you and Rekt Gang, I did put Winston in the nest on the punch bag. Sorry to interject. I just want to
so fucking cute, dude. I've been looking at these since you've been putting them up, and it's been like putting a big smile on my face, especially the pajamas.
Oh, dude,
the pajamas.
You want to see him? You want to see him when he was a kid, sitting in the bath. So, like, when he was tiny, I used to have that little, like, dish that you can put in, like, your sink, and then you put your dishes in. That's what I bought him when he was a puppy, and he would just sit in it for, like, hours, and he would zone out, right? And now I've got the, like, gigantic, like, blue bath outside, right? I'll post in a minute, and he just sits in there, man, and he zones out for, like, about 45 minutes, looking up at the trees and, like, watching the little birds and that, just sniffing the air, man. And then he'd just jump out, soaking, like, and just come over, destroy me life for days, like. But he's fucking bath, I'm going to put that up. Anyway, I just want to bring some love and light into people's lives, man. Like, please, people, you know what? Some of us have been through, like, really hard times in crypto. These spaces have been, like, such an outlet. And I really, really appreciate the level of intellect in here. Obviously, barring shoebox, of course. But I also appreciate the level of, like, civilized discourse. There's no shouting. Here we go. I knew he'd fucking pipe up. I thought you were asleep, you little cunt. What time is it where you are? 1 o'clock?
I tried to talk like 3 or 4 times, but people keep talking over me, so I just went back in the shoebox.
Oh, your man Sunnyside's come up and all. We'll get that fucker up and all. He's good crack, isn't he? I love it. I love all of it. Boy, Sheldon's in the room and all. Sheldon's popped in. Let's get some fucking Sheldon up here. He met Amanda the other day, you know. You know Sheldon from Nia? I know you know him. I know. You know every fucker, don't you, Rarma? Huh?
Yeah, I gotta hop to go do some work. But Rarma, did we get a draft up or?
I haven't yet.
Okay, I can add it on my list of things to do and work on it. Do you want me to start like a group chat with everyone so that we can all like kind of asynchronously work on it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
How do we feel about throwing Joe on there too?
Oh, for sure.
How many people would chuck on there?
You said there was 4 slots and that 3 could be replaced. So
true. Yeah.
I want to be a pro bono, like sub advisor. I just want to help out for free, just for the culture, like just to fucking piss everybody off.
There's
The intern?
absolutely
Sub
no
down intern?
reason.
Intern, you can fuck right off you daft cunt. Intern, I'm on about rubber stamping your fucking bullshit for free, man. You fucking mug. Intern.
Roboverse Web3 intern.
Yeah, pleb. Don't make me. Harvey, don't go there. Harvey, I'm telling you, don't go there. Have you seen Snatch? Have you seen Snatch, brother?
Gainszy's already got the Twitter handle saved. Roboverse Web3 intern. Title: Official intern of the Communications Subdow Advisory Board.
Fucking murder you. I'll delete my account. I'll go back to Pikey Rack for the rest of my life. Go on, Arby, do your work, son. Do your business. I know you're a busy man. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution, though, of course.
Hey, Bbandz, I love you.
Hey.
I'm gonna go check out the Discord later today.
You know, Ave, and thanks so much. I do love chatting with you, and I'm so glad we got to talk. And I'm so glad you're also gonna go check the Discord. Appreciate ya.
You woman,
Suckasses.
She's a gangster.
Get the fuck out of here, you suckers.
She's lighting fires. That Rarma. Oh my god. Take care, Arby. Anyway, Bbandz, I tell you what, you're one of my favourite cutthroats. You like pirates, you know. You and Amanda. You don't say that much, but when you do, you're like cutting fucking jugular veins open or something.
You know what? Can I say something though? As a woman too, and being in the space, we kind of have to also I like fucking around. But we also have to be careful what we say because there's only a few of us and stuff. So I want to make sure that we get to stay in the space and we're taken seriously. You know what I mean?
No, fuck that.
Hey,
fuck that.
These spaces.
You be yourself
not around
and rock that shit. And you are more than welcome anytime, and you can say whatever you want in these spaces. If anyone ever says anything, you just call on Rarma, you just call on Robo, call on the raccoons, call on the Rekt gang, and we'll rock up and we'll fuck them up live on Twitter Spaces. All right, we got you.
I'm glad you named loads of other people there. I'm glad you didn't just say.
I had to make sure there was plenty of people.
I was thinking you can rely on Rarma, and I'm thinking go on, add some people to that list, please. And then he was like, and Robo, and I'm like, whoa. And I was waiting for Winston, but never mind. Bbandz, remember, I think when you first ever came in, I think it was Mia, and that got you to come in, and you asked if you could post something up top, and we were like, what? What are you talking about, man? What you do is you post in the nest and then you tell people on a space. It's almost as bad as Gaines the pleb when he puts his hand up. Oh my god. Rarma, can we stop Gaines putting his fucking hand up or what?
Yeah, I had the same feedback today in Jake's spaces when the absolute pleb Robo put his hand up twice.
That was for Jake.
Embarrassing.
Out of respect. That was for Jake out of respect. But last night, you and Rekt gang were going at it. I mean, it was 50-50. It was like a tennis match. I was loving it. I was living the dream, right? When I could get logged in during the fucking storm. But then, you two were going at it, and then Gaines had something to say. And he was putting his hand up, and then 15 minutes later, he was coming in, and I'm like, come on, Gaines, up your fucking... See, he hasn't even come in tonight. Look at this dude. We're slagging him off, and he won't even come in to defend himself. We know he's finished. Oh, he said his little girl was sick, didn't he? Oh, I forgot about that. Oh,
absolute fucking bully.
No, is he been in the DMs? Wait, fuck off you.
Your mate's here, Robbo.
Wait, who? I'm swearing. Who?
I think we'll get him up. We'll get him up today.
Who? Who's up? Didn't say it's Jimmy. For fuck's sake, better not be Jimmy. Who's up? Who's in here?
Oh, my name is Jimmy the Otter. How's it going?
Oh, fucking not. Well, Jimmy.
Good morning,
Jimmy,
Mr.
I'm all right.
How
you doing, my little Otter sweetie pie?
I'm getting the wood
yourself,
taste
Jimmy.
in your mouth, Jimmy.
At least someone likes me.
Behave. No, well, Jimmy, you're fine if you behave yourself, right? If you can be civil, because tonight there's been a lot of love, a lot of not necessarily agreeing, but other people being able to see other people's points of view and balanced approaches, right? Jimmy,
depends on the
argument.
Depends on what
Jimmy, listen, we're trying to build bridges. We're not trying to fucking destroy them, right? Listen, it's entitled RAC FM, episode 9, We need no kings. Now, I'd like your opinion on that. And also, Winston Guard's Rekt News. So I'd also like your... Oh, that's the fucking dogs. Straight away, look at this, man. As soon as I start mentioning the dogs, man. Hey, man. Shut the fuck up now. Sorry. Listen, wait, Jimmy, wait. Winston Guard's Rekt News. Rekt News, who are just a lovely little, like, fresh, bubbly thing in the industry, are getting death threats. So I'm going to send the boys over. Yeah. Well, we don't know. Anonymous in the DMs. But dude, listen.
Hold on. Can I ask? You're saying
question number one.
Let me ask you a clarification question, so I understand what's going on first.
Give me question number one. We need no kings. Do you agree with that statement? Jimmy, I'm asking you. We need no kings. Do you
agree? It comes from the Bible, by the way.
What does?
So very quickly, just hold on here. So let me get an understanding of what's going on. You're asking me for an opinion on 3 different matters in ascending order. Rekt News, I have to admit, I'm not entirely aware of this publication, has received anonymous death threats in Twitter DMs. Is this correct?
Correct. Yes, and it's out of order.
It's a satire news, though. It's a joke news.
Okay, so how do you know the? Hold on. Let me ask the question. Let me just ask a couple more questions so I can understand what's going on. So how do we know, for example, the Rekt News is not releasing this as additional satire? Do they say this is serious or not?
On the underground news wire, we heard, it's not good, like Jimmy. There are people who are upset with Rekt News right now, exposing the truth. Just exposing the truth.
I thought you just said Rekt News is satirical.
They are, but they are like exposing the truth in like a satirical way. Like that's quite acceptable. Many other, outlets do it, like to a degree, like Babylon B kind of thing. You know what I mean?
CNN, Fox News.
CNN.
I said Babylon B on the CNN.
Okay, well, I'll say this: if they're getting death threats, I'm in favor of that.
So, Jimmy, the fact that we need no kings is from the Bible. That was kind of interesting.
Yes. I think it's from Luke, if I'm mistaken.
Google's.
It's from Google. Nice try though.
I think it's from the Old Testament, straight up.
Is it from Genesis? Is it from Genesis then? Let me just check on the Google.
Yeah, go check. You got a computer.
Did you ever sing? Did you ever sing like the rhymes, like the rhymes about like from the Bible and that? Like,
it's from 1 second. It's from Hosea 10:3.
See, Old Testament.
And, yeah, it's also from Judges 18:1. So there you go. It's actually repeated quite often in the Bible for obvious reasons. We have no king. We do not need one to revere except for the Lord. Exactly.
So they just need a king, but they just call him a lord instead of a king.
I mean, if you hold on. I mean, in the Old Testament, don't forget that there is no Jesus in the Old Testament, right? There is no Jesus in the Old Testament. So when they say the Lord, that is the.
So take anything I say.
Let me finish, if you don't mind. Let me just finish. Yeah, let me just finish. If you don't.
Hi, my name is Gaines the Otter. I'm a Cosmos soldier.
So in the Old Testament, that of course is an English translation of the Old Testament. Let's not forget that the King James Bible is simply the English translation of the New Testament. However, the English translation of the Old Testament is not a very good translation, and most Christians will admit that. I think if you look at the Septuagint, which is the Greek version of the Old Testament, it would be translated slightly differently from the Lord, which has a lot of English connotations, to the actual Hebrew version of that, which means something completely different from the Lord. So there's your answer.
So, Jimmy, you have a theology degree? Or are you just
I am a specialist in ecclesiastical history in my spare time.
And very interesting.
Yes, I studied ecclesiastical
actually,
history.
Jimmy, you got me speechless real quick. So that's
for the reason that I think there's a very interesting synthesis between Zoroastrianism, Judaism, Christianity, and Buddhism, because people forget this, that the Babylonian Bible, which is the Old Testament's version, was written at the same time as the rise of Buddhism, and the rise of Zoroastrianism. So one can only imagine that there was probably a lot of Buddhist and Zoroastrian influence on the original Old Testament. So the question is, if we compare the Dead Sea Scrolls versus the Septuagint, which is like the Babylonian version of the Bible, what are the differences? And we found that there are many differences. So that those things have yet been resolved. There's a lot of interesting questions.
Wikipedia, Jimmy, I love when someone discovers Wikipedia live online. That's amazing, isn't it? You're like, go on, son. I'm glad you can read. Fucking great stuff.
Well, I mean, this is not really in Wikipedia. So, for example, I'll give you a couple examples of why it's interesting. There's a lot of questions about who the Buddha is, the historical Buddha. So, for example, Sanskrit was a language that comprises both the Zoroastrian script as well as the Buddhist script. So the Buddhist canon was originally written in Sanskrit and Vestim. But the interesting thing is the first indications of Sanskrit comes from the treaty between the Hittites and the Egyptians in northwestern Syria, about 200 years before the Buddha. So it's originally a Middle Eastern language that was transplanted over into India. And so therefore the question is, was the Buddha even aware of that? Did the Buddha grow up speaking Sanskrit? Did he even reveal his scripture in a sense in Sanskrit and Bali, which is like a version of Sanskrit, or simply was it transplanted by Greek settlers? So people don't know this, but there was a Greek kingdom in India. It's called the Indo-Greek Kingdom, and the king at the time, Meander, he converted to Buddhism. And so what is interesting is this is the same time as well as Jesus Christ.
I'm enjoying this. I'm sorry. Am I the only one? My bad. I'm enjoying this.
So the question people have, so if you look at the history of the Indo-Greek kingdom, it survives right after Jesus died. Around the time that Jesus died, it ended. So the question is, when Jesus was alive, he must have been very aware that the Greeks were in India. He also must have been very aware that Jerusalem being a trading city, there were very likely Buddhists and Hindus who came through from the east to west. The question, therefore, is what influence on the New Testament was there from the Eastern religions? And honestly, there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of important similarities. So I could go through the examples.
Jimmy, wait, Bbandz. Right.
On this note, it's 1 a.m. I'm not sitting here listening to this. I'm not interested at all. Good night.
Right, Rarma, wait a minute. I just want to say something. Jimmy, you're a bit of a fuckwit there because the title wasn't King. The title was Kings. And I did try to stop you before you rant and say, like, dude, it's plural.
Well, in the Bible, it is kings. Again, we need no kings but the Lord.
Let someone else. Jimmy, let someone else.
I'm simply answering a question, though.
Wait, I haven't finished. And I didn't have a question, right? It's a fucking statement of fact, right? Declare it a fucking statement, right? Listen, you did your Bible translation.
It's an incomplete statement because it says we need no kings but the Lord.
See, this is why. I didn't want to kick you out. I'm not that player, but like, just behave a second, man. 1 second, right? Listen. And hopefully we can get Sajoshi Nakabozo in the room because that's what we really fucking need right now is an injection of fucking Nakabozo, right? Jimmy, the title is Kings, and you went off on a tangent about where Jimmy should
in the Bible Jimmy, it is we need no kings but the Lord.
Shut up, mate. 1 second, man. I do not want, dude. Please, Jimmy, man, be respectful. I've got the patience of a saint. Listen, you did the Bible translation with King.
Not a translation.
Then Bbandz asked you about it. How do you know, like, we need no king? And then you were like, oh, no, but we need the Lord or whatever. Right? Listen.
I didn't say that. I said that. No, I didn't say that.
Jimmy, the title is King.
Yeah, again, in the Bible, that's what the sentence is.
So, like, real quick, Robo, you don't have to mute the whole room. You can actually just go to Jimmy and like mute him so that you can finish the sentence.
Rarma did the muting.
I do it because
Rarma did the muting, not me,
to do. It's literally right above the mic is on button to just like goodbye everyone. No one.
Wait a minute,
and that's the easiest solution.
Didn't want to do it. Wait a minute. Listen. Right, can we get back to some like relative like context for like the general population who like might have joined us late? Yeah, the entire thing today was, certain elements if certain L1s kind of give the go-ahead for the community to start taking like certain matters into their own hand, like, hey, like if you want to do
now?
Dude, can you not? Like, really? How many friends in real life have you got? Please, there can't be fucking many. And dude,
in the aquarium,
and it must be the ones you grew up with. Like, literally, you are annoying as fuck, but I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to go there, right?
For a Yorkshireman, you constantly talk over people.
I'm not, dude. I'm not, right? I want to get back to a decent subject.
Constantly talks over people and interjects for zero value.
Right. Rarma, did you listen to the SBF call? Fuck yous, I'm segueing. I'm fucking sick of the conversations. We've gone on forever. Rarma, did you listen to the SBF call? Fucking what an embarrassment.
I listened to as much of it that I could until the little pipsqueak irritated me enough that I turned it off.
You know something though?
Let me come in here and reply to that. I did listen to the call. And very quickly, I'd like to say this.
No surprise, not quickly, but there's no quick about you, Jimmy, for fuck's sake.
I'm going to reply about. So what I found interesting is I've also been in attendance and heard of his other speeches in other conferences. Actually, he had one very recently before the blow-up. The last conference he was at before the blow-up was in Qatar, actually. It was with, what's it called? Gecko Bioworks, which is a company that does biosynthesis. And they're both talking at the same time and talking about these things. And what was interesting was Sam would never really explain what he means. What he would often do is he would say the words, like, yeah, and he would just say very, very abstract things. And I think the reason why he was able to do that for so long was no one ever pushed back on him. He was essentially just advertising himself and the company. But he was never actually ever in a debate of any kind. Something that I found interesting was that the other people who were attending that panel, I can share the video up on top of him attending the panel, were kind of like...
You do know I'm not talking about this. You do know, Jimmy, you do know, I'm not, no, you do know I wasn't talking about what you're talking about. I'm talking about the Spaces call he did last night.
Yeah, I know, but I'm giving you an explanation, like the way that guy thinks. The other people on that panel were kind of wondering why he was on the stage, because the people on the panel are pretty famous academics and trying to clearly explain their ideas. And when Sam was talking, they just kind of wandered their heads and were looking up on the ceiling like, why is this guy here? And I think the issue of the call was the guy has never actually been challenged before on anything. And he's a very young guy, to be honest. And when you have someone like that, it kind of reminds me of the show We Own the City. At the very last scene, the main character who's now in prison, who was a cop, who was a dirty cop, now in prison. This is the same guy who made The Wire, which is an HBO show. He was giving a speech to all the captains, lieutenants, but in that scene, they all wore rookie uniforms because in that guy's mind, he saw them as rookies and he was the boss until he goes to prison. And then he realizes that he has to basically own up for all the consequences of everything he's done. And this is the issue. Sam, I still think
Sam is not going to prison.
Sam, I think, well, he's not going to prison, but I'm telling you, like, his psychology. I think Sam still believes that everyone else is a rookie and can't catch up to him, when in reality, he himself doesn't understand what he's talking about. And people expect him to actually understand. I think people overestimate his intelligence, to be honest, when in fact he's nothing more.
Majorly, he couldn't even keep up with like quite normal questions. So when Mario, after he'd been interrupted by like Kim.com, when Mario went to chat for those like kind of rapid fire, when he went to chat though for the rapid fire, right? Like SBF just got like, he just got lost like a little baby. Like I was listening, like thinking, fucking hell, you had how many billions like at your control? You absolute giga pleb, can't even speak in public or answer a question. And when they started asking about his parents, this is like really good. The thing is, his parents are very, very, very clever, sharp people, right? I think, unfortunately, Sam was like just born like downstream of them, right? So like, you know, they're probably like, I don't know, whatever, 160, 170 IQs, whatever, right? And there's little Sam pops out at like 80. And they've tried all their life to get the kid like the kid that they want, the kid that they dreamed of, that they hoped for. But he's been just a fucking pleb, a fucking clueless.
Can I respond very quickly about bringing in his parents? I really don't think it's fair to bring in someone's parents, to be honest.
What?
And
No, dude, what you talking about? His parents are his fucking advisors. What are you fucking talking about?
No, I get that. But let's just judge the man according to the man himself.
Sam's not in control, man. Sam's parents are fucking in control, man.
I think it's very easy to go to the parents, to be honest. I think it's too easy.
Why? Because the deep state. Because they're giga deep state.
Yeah, maybe they are, but I would say this. I mean, I'd rather talk about Sam. Because in the end of the day, Sam did own the company in his own name, right? And he was the marketing child of that company. I think the more important issue is not, Sam himself, but let's take Robo, for example. Robo clearly thinks he was smarter than Sam, right? I think the issue is that everyone thinks that Sam is dumb and everyone's smarter than him. When in reality, Sam was dumb, but everyone was dumber than him. That's why they got into it.
Well, Jimmy, you've missed this conversation 2 weeks ago because Robo knows about intelligence types, right? I think Bbandz was on the call. A few of us, right? Jimmy, we already had this like a long time ago. Like I said, clueless. I specifically used the word clueless, right? If you know what that means in British
are you clueless? Because I would agree with that. You are very clueless.
I'm calling Sam clueless. The word I used to describe.
He knew he was doing. That's not true.
Intelligence comes in different.
He's just pretending to be dumb, but the fact is, he knows everyone's dumber than him. Didn't you understand the parable?
No.
You're not smarter than he is, Robo. You're not smarter. You can think that you are. I think it makes you feel better about your life, but you're not.
Jimmy, he's implicit in the crime.
To be honest, Robo, you're dumb as rocks. You've never said anything intelligent.
Do you mean wait, there's different types of intelligence, though. There's intelligence, people being able to deal with other people and being, having like street smarts. There's different types of intelligence, Jimmy. Not just the type that fucking.
I would want to qualify Sam's intelligence level.
Jimmy doesn't know what clueless.
Let me qualify Sam's intelligence level, if you don't mind. So,
Jimmy doesn't know what clueless means. Jimmy, you talk over everybody.
Hold on. I know scammers like you talk over people and then try and insult them, but I'm not going to accept that. You can go ahead.
Jimmy, finish what you were saying. Hurry up.
Thanks for checking out another episode of The Ether. That was part 1 of a 2-part RAC FM number 9, WWGOWGA. Recorded on Friday, December 2nd, 2022. For TerraSpaces.org, I'm Finn. Thanks for listening. And if you want to keep listening, head on over to TerraSpaces.org/donate and show some support. Now, with Spark IBC enabled. Cool. When I'm ripping and rapping, I ain't picking the bastards who be tricking the masses into getting their asses kicked. Feels like I've been getting my masters. Fuck a pumping up, I like the income that's passive. Raise up the bar before I fly right past it. I'll be writing rhymes till they put me in a casket. Old man shit, put the lotion on its skin. Then put that shit back in the damn basket. Like Buffalo Bill, the way I'm ruffling feathers. Snuffing out debt, cut the heads off collectors. Keep a couple heads in a jar as keepsakes. And take the rest and turn them into free bait. Upgrade the feeling, supply the free base. Looking all professional, tools in the briefcase. Running on empty from gassing up my teammates. First one down, let me know how that sleep tastes.
Now places the lotion in the basket.
Directing impossible, defending the plausible from ended demonstrable. The mission isn't even worried about the clearance. Running interference till our enemies fear us. We're only one disappearance away from a bad day. Everybody trying to save face on the last day. Feeling fancy, about to pull out the masse. Drop the 8-ball in passing, that's so passe. I'm getting nasty, you cannot put it past me. A mix between blasphemy and tuck everlasting. Feeling like a masterpiece, looking like a tragedy. Trying to get through another day full of savagery. Getting headstrong from working in the mess hall. All hands on deck, waiting for our next haul. I need the rest, got big plans to eject. So feed the grass and keep off the Kleenex.
I am interested in magic because I am fascinated with psychology. I love to learn about how people make inferences about them, how they draw conclusions, find patterns in information, And in particular, I'm interested in all that can go wrong. How an individual can be led astray when certain cognitive vulnerabilities are exploited.
TerraSpaces.